All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for coming this evening. Before we get started, just one little bit of housekeeping. Please do remember to keep your microphone muted during the presentation, and please hold all of your questions until the end of the event. If you want to type your questions into the chat box, I will be monitoring it during the event, and at the end, I'll read all of your questions out loud. So thank you so much for coming, and without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Aimee Gabuya, our presenter this evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Good evening, everyone. I am very, very happy and I'm pleased. It is my pleasure really to be here. And I would like to thank all of you who are taking this time in investing yourself. I know everybody is busy with so many things, but taking really this time to learn new things in terms of how we can keep ourselves healthy, empowering my fellow women in here and how we can keep ourselves healthy. I am Aimee Gabuya. I am a research nurse coordinator at Hackensack Meridian Health in the Department of Patient Safety and Quality, but I'm also a nurse. So I've been a nurse for over 24 years now, and most of my nursing experience is in emergency nursing, psychiatric mental health nursing, and nursing education as well. So one of the things that, of course, I really like to do is sharing information, educating other individuals that can be very helpful to them in the future in terms of the application, little things that can be done in improving oneself and also helping other people if you can relay that information to other individuals. Now, let me start sharing my screen. And please let me know if you guys are seeing my screen.
I don't see your screen just yet, but let's give it a minute.
Okay.
There it is. Now I can see your screen. Can everyone in the chat see your screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. It looks like we're good.
Thank you so much for confirming. I know technology is amazing, but there are times that, if you're not very familiar with it, there can be some glitches along the way. So, all right, let's see. So I have already introduced myself as to who I am. Also, I am a mother, I am a wife. Yes, you know that I am an employee. Like most of you, that we try to juggle so many things at the same time. That's why I'm very, very happy when the opportunity is given to me in terms of imparting education. But let me start with our short education session with a mindful exercise, which I think is very, very important amidst our busy schedule, finding that very moment to be present at the time and just focus on ourselves. So I want you all to sit in a comfortable position. Now, at this time, close your eyes or look down in a soft gaze. Focus your breathing on slow, deep inhalations and exhalations. Now let go of any difficulties you may have had getting to work this morning, accomplishing your chores at home, or whatever it is that you have to finish today. And let go of any of the worries you may have for the rest of the night. Now focus on your slow, deep breaths as you feel more and more relaxed. Now, imagine a white light coming directly from a source above and bring that energy down into your physical body through the crown of your head. Imagine that energy moving directly down your spine and out through the soles of your feet, all the way down into the center of the earth. Feel any energetic imbalances within you being moved down and out through your feet directly into the earth and washed away. Bring the pure, solid, reliable, grounding energy of earth and all that she represents to you back up through your feet, up your legs, stopping at the top of your legs, just below the hips. Now allow yourself to feel the qualities of the earth that you most need to draw upon at this time: permanence, reliability, safety, security, whatever it is that you need at this very moment. When you feel the sensation of the earth's qualities you most need to experience at this moment, affirm to yourself that you can access this feeling anytime you need to, simply by taking the time to connect to the element of the earth in this way. Now breathe in and exhale. And now, when you are ready, slowly open your eyes. All right. So, this grounding moments basically adapted from Deepak Chopra. So I thank you for really taking that time, even if it's just really like 3 or 4 minutes, probably the most. But that very short moment that you are mindful of your presence, like your own breathing, and that's one thing that we are all in control of, regardless of what's happening around us. Being mindful for that very moment, that's very important. And that is one way that we are trying to establish and making ourselves healthy. So for tonight, what we really hope for is we'll try to define what is well being. And then we try to identify ways to maintain ourselves healthy, both the body and the mind, the practical ways, things that are feasible to you, meaning things that you can actually do, you can actually achieve, and try to develop the ways to keep yourself healthy, things that are realistic to you. So I think it's also very important that we try to talk about statistics or the numbers, because the numbers, they don't lie. It gives us a deeper understanding in a bigger sense as to what is really happening. Is there really a problem? And then how can we make sure that we're not going to contribute to these numbers as well? So I have obtained this information from the Centers of the Disease Control. So, for the National Center for Health Statistics, specific for women in the United States, this data that has been obtained: women 18 years and older that are in poor or fair health condition, there's approximately 15.6%. And this information was obtained in 2023. Now, for women 18 years and older who currently smoke cigarettes, the percentage of that one, or the number of women, there is actually 20.4%. Again, this is obtained in 2023. And when we talk about weight, right? So older women, or women 20 years old and older, there are approximately close to 50% of the population, 42.1% of women who tend to be overweight or in that cusp of being obese. And this information has been obtained from 2017 to 2020. So we can see that there is some concern in terms of maintaining that weight that is, ideal for women. And then women age 18 years older diagnosed of hypertension, or it can be that they went to their doctor, they had their blood pressure checked, and then their blood pressure is in the higher cusp, and or they are given a medication to control their blood pressure. It can be to prevent any further increase, or they can have history of hypertension or stroke in the family, and the doctor wants to make sure that they're not going to develop that one. So there are approximately 45.7% of the women, the population. Again, this was obtained in 2017 to 2020. And talking about hypertension, so it can lead to other medical problems and has been identified that the leading causes of death are the top three. And these are the top three. Heart problems. Heart problems can be attributed to, or the cause of that one can be hypertension, right? And then the second leading cause of death is cancer. And the third one, we have stroke. Again, stroke can be attributed also for heart problems or hypertension, or it can be that there is high cholesterol level or overweight. So these are the information that is very important for us to be aware of. And apart from that one, I think it's also important, especially for those of us who may be mothers or have experience or who may be considered as in the state of maternal, I mean to say they are pregnant women, right? So the maternal mortality rates, and this is just in the United States, and this information is obtained in 2022. So let me read this one basing from what CDC said when we talk about death of a pregnant woman. So, death of a woman while pregnant or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy, irrespective of the duration and the site of the pregnancy, from any cause related to or aggravated by the pregnancy or its management, but not from accidental or incidental causes. You'll be like, wait. What is that? I don't even understand that one. So let's try to dissect this one, go into piece by piece with this. When we say death of a woman, of course, we refer to the death of a female individual. And we say during pregnancy, this basically means that this woman was pregnant at the time of death. And when we say within the 42 days of termination of pregnancy, it means to say that this includes the death that occurred 42 days either after the pregnancy ended. It can be because of miscarriage, it can be because of abortion, or it can be related to childbirth. And when we say irrespective of the duration of the site of pregnancy, it means to say it does not matter how long was the woman pregnant or who the father of the baby was. And then when we say from any cause related to or aggravated by the pregnancy or its management, it basically means that the death must be linked to the pregnancy in itself. It can either be how it was managed. For example, it can be complications during pregnancy. It can be complications at the time that they are giving birth, or it can be problems or complications right after giving birth. Right? And when we say it is not related to any accidents, which means that the cause of the death is basically related to pregnancy and not related to an accident, right? Or any incident at all. Then in 2022, the data shows that 817 of the women died of maternal causes. And in 2021, there was 1,205. So we can see that there is a decrease of the numbers, which is awesome, which is great. So I mean to say it's very effective in terms of educating individuals as to how you take care of yourself during pregnancy to prevent any complications, how we take care of ourselves after also pregnancy, most especially like after the pregnancy period. So, which is great that there is a decrease in the number. However, a single death is still a lot of death. So we still have a lot of work here to do in terms of empowering women, how we can take care of ourselves, right? To prevent any cause of death related to pregnancy. So since we will be talking about physical and mental health, so I think it's nice that we can also view, there's a short clip that I am sharing in terms of how we can maintain what is the relationship with the physical health and mental health, because the two have to be together. You cannot separate one from the other. Your physical health affects your mental health, and your mental health can directly affect your physical health. See the video. Are you able to see the video?
I'm able to see it. I don't know if we can hear it. Try playing it again and see if we can hear it.
Got it.
No, I don't think we can hear the videos. Do you want me to try sharing the video from my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm just gonna have you turn off your screen share,
Yeah.
Aimee.
Got it.
And let me share my screen. And is it this one or this one? This one, right? Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, that's the correct one. Physical and mental health. That's correct.
Excellent. So let me know if you can hear it.
Yes, I can hear it.
Perfect.
It wasn't like it hit me all at once. I struggled with feelings of fear and worry over the years.
When my doctor told me that the pain in my hands was caused by arthritis, those feelings continued to grow. I started to worry that I wouldn't be able to do the things I love, like gardening and playing the piano.
I started having panic attacks and feeling like I couldn't breathe. I already had asthma, which can make breathing hard anyway.
I was so stressed that I had trouble falling asleep at night. I found myself so tired during the day that I could barely focus on my work. It never occurred to me that mental health and physical health were so closely connected. I guess because you go to different kinds of health professionals for help. But I saw a news story that made me realize we really shouldn't think of them as two different kinds of health.
We're joined today by Dr. Ellen Welch, a medical doctor who says we should be thinking about our health much more broadly. Doctor, what kinds of things besides our physical health are important?
Thank you for having me on today. And yes, that's correct. When we talk about someone who is healthy, we are talking about physical health, but also mental health, social well-being, and other resources a person needs to live a full life.
That sounds like a lot more than just curing someone when they have a fever.
You're right. Health isn't just the absence of disease. It also refers to a person's ability to bounce back from an illness or other challenges in life. There are many factors that contribute to our mental and physical health. Some factors include a person's genetics, their environment, their relationships, their education, and their employment. These all impact a person's ability to lead a healthy life.
So what can our viewers do to improve the kind of health you're talking about?
Certainly eating a healthy diet and getting regular exercise as directed by a physician are keys to good health. It is also important to have healthy coping skills when challenges come up in a job or a relationship. Having healthy social relationships can also contribute to a person's overall well-being, including their mental health.
Hearing that, doctor, helped me understand that my stress was doing more than just impacting my physical health. It was also starting to hurt my relationships, affecting how I spent my free time, and seemed to make me feel overwhelmed. In fact, learning that mental health is the way our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors affect our lives helped me realize I needed to address my ongoing stress as a health issue, both physical and mental. I talked about this with my doctor, and he connected me with a therapist. I still meet with my therapist from time to time. In addition to the diet, exercise, and physical checkups from my doctor, my therapist has helped me learn to manage my stress, develop healthy relationships, and a more positive attitude. Each and every day is filled with unique ups and downs, but understanding the link between my physical and mental health has made a big difference in my ongoing recovery journey.
Right. Thank you, Chelsea. Now let me share back my screen. And please let me know if you are seeing
Yes.
my screen. Perfect. Okay. Right. So we have appreciated in that short clip the importance of establishing a good mental health at the same time physical health. So let's talk about well-being. And this is the definition that the Centers for Disease Control gave in terms of well-being. So well-being is basically a combination of your positive emotions, your life satisfaction, and physical health. So you can see there is the mind, the emotions, the feeling, and of course, the physical aspect. So let's talk about when we say positive emotions. So anything that gives us a good feeling, right? So that sense of contentment. I am contented with what I am doing at home, whatever I do as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, or whatever it is, that the task that I am given, I am contented, and that makes me happy, right? Your contentment leads to happiness. So happiness is influenced by how we are contented with whatever is happening in our current situation, regardless of whatever responsibility is given to us. So that brings that positive emotion. And then we also want to talk about no negative emotions, because as what in the short video says, that it's not just the absence of an illness, right? So when we say no negative emotions, if you are contented and you are happy, it leads to the absence of feeling lonely, sad, that overwhelming feeling of anxiety, because you have that positive feelings and emotions, those feelings that make you feel good about yourselves, that make you feel good of the situation that you are in. What else? When you talk about life satisfaction, you feel fulfilled, and that sense of fulfillment leads to that positive functioning. So I am fulfilled that, I am able to do my tasks, that I can wake up in the morning, prepare the food for my kids, send my kid to school, you know, have my house a nice place. I feel fulfilled as an employee, that I'm able to do my responsibilities very well, and that leads to a positive functioning. So what do I mean by that one? Because you see that the outcome is actually good, it helps you and makes you repeat that good action, because it gives you that sense like, I have accomplished something. Again, regardless of whatever is the situation, whatever is your role, but that sense of fulfillment can lead to a positive functioning. And because of that, it can influence also a physically healthy body or individual. So, mean to say, when we are physically healthy, it means that we are full of energy. We don't feel tired at all. We feel very healthy. We are very active with whatever that we can do. And as women, we have so many things that we are juggling, right? And we're able to do all those things. And I want to highlight in the short clip when it says like, I see my doctor and my doctor recommended that I also see a therapist. And we want to try to break that stigma that seeking for a professional help is wrong. It is not wrong. It is a good way because you want to keep yourself healthy. And keeping yourself healthy is maintaining that psychological and mental well-being. And who else is able to help you establish that one than those individuals that are equipped, they have the skills, they have the knowledge, they have the capability to help you establish that well being. So, emotional well being, how we do this one, right? So, when we talk about emotional well being, this is basically able to manage our own emotions, well being, and have a sense of, we already discussed about the meaning, the purpose, and supportive relationship. Meaning, with the things that we do, our meaning to ourselves, do we find that we have a purpose regardless of whatever is our situation in life, our status in life? And it leads to also supportive relationships. So why is this very important? Establishing emotional well-being helps us manage our own thoughts and feelings. Is it wrong to be angry? Is it wrong to be mad? Is it wrong to be frustrated? It's not. But it's important that we know how to manage them accordingly, that we are not going to be overwhelmed with all these negative feelings and emotions. What else? Establishing emotional well being helps people have a sense and purpose. I know my sense and purpose in my life right now as a mother, as a daughter, as an employee, whatever it is that your role that you are looking or working into right now. And it also helps me connect socially. As the saying goes, no man is an island. It's very, very important for us to connect with other people, because humans are social beings. We need to have that human interaction. Now we are very privileged that we have technology. We may not be able to see them in person, but the ability to be able to talk to them phone, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever it is with the use of technology. But again, it is about that social connection that we have with other individuals. So, how can we create a positive emotional well being? So, first is we try to know, learn, and express emotions in a positive way. I mentioned about that. Is it wrong to be mad? Is it wrong to be angry, frustrated? No. These are human emotions, and we have these emotions. It becomes wrong how we express our anger in terms of, are we hurting other people, either words or actions? So, having that good emotional well being is expressing those emotions in a positive way. How do you do that, Mom? If you are upset with somebody, like your partner or whoever it is that you're upset with, talk to them calmly and let them know, I have a concern. I am upset with the situation. That's one way of letting them know that you are not happy, that you're upset. Or you can even say, I am angry, but in a positive way that you are expressing that emotion. Next, know how to deal with your stress and the changes that's happening, because constantly every day there are changes that's happening. So how do we deal with stress? Try to find a way that is possible for you in terms of how you deal with stress. Like, for example, my way of dealing with stress when I'm overwhelmed, I stay calm, I stay quiet, I pray. Or one way is listening to music. That the music that we'll listen, especially that the happy music that we'll listen, can directly affect our emotions and thoughts as well. If not, watching a happy film. So anything that you can do that will lead you to managing your stress in a positive way. Now, learn how to work with disagreements. People disagree, right? All the time. So how do we do with this one? Try to listen to what the other person is actually saying. And that is when we try to understand what is the theme around that one. And if we don't agree, and that's fine, we can disagree, but try to say it in a calm way or compromise in certain situations, or you can give options to the other individual. Another one is learn to look for solutions in useful ways. So, one of the best ways that can help you when the thoughts is just overwhelming with so many things that is happening. I've stressed at home, I've stressed at work, I've just stressed with family issues, and I cannot think clearly. One of the best things, and it is in evidence, it has been shown to be proven to be very effective, is writing down or journaling your thoughts, and it also helps you express that emotions. It helps you clarify your thoughts, and you'll be able to see at the same time what seems to be the issues and how can I resolve the issues that is within my reach, that is within my capability to be able to do it. And last one, you can see that one, know that it is okay to ask others for help and support. It is never wrong to seek for help because you want to make sure that you are well and healthy. Okay, now we've been talking about how to keep ourselves healthy in terms of our emotional well being, but it's also important that we keep our bodies healthy. So, how can we keep our bodies healthy? Number one, you can see that this calendar here. What do you think would that indicate? It means to say that we have to keep with our regular appointments. I know as women, we're so busy. For those of us who are mothers, we are so busy, like attending to the needs of our family, our kids. We want to make sure that their appointments are on time, and we tend to forget ourselves. We have to make sure that we find time, that we see our own doctors, because we cannot serve the people that we love unless we are healthy. Keeping our test appointments, screenings, and vaccinations. So now flu season is coming. So I encourage you to have your flu shots there. What else? Keeping yourself healthy by eating healthy at all. Fruits, vegetables, lean protein, low fat diet, low salt diet, no added sugar. Important also, getting enough sleep. Do you know this? That as adults, we need to have at least a minimum of 7 hours, 7 hours of more of sleep. You work the whole day, you are so busy. You can be working at home 10, 12 hours. It can be nonstop, right? If you're an employee, you can be working 8, 10, 12 hours. So try to look into when you're using your cell phone. At the end of the day, what happens? The battery, what happens to the battery? Right? It drains. So what do you do at the end of that one? You try to connect it and recharge. That's similar to our body. We need to recharge our body, and the important way of doing that one is getting adequate amount of sleep. Then the next one, move more and sit less. Now, it doesn't have to be that you do exercise, that you go to the gym, lift weights. They actually are saying that you can start with small steps, and then the increments of that one, build it up that at least 2.5 hours of activities, exercise, whatever it is, per week. So you can start with just walking, maybe 10 minutes a day, and then that adds up increasingly, that in a week's time you have 2.5 hours of exercise. And then limit the intake of alcohol. For women, it is considered you're drinking in moderation if you take one drink or less a day of alcohol. And lastly, we have avoid illegal drugs or using of any prescriptions that is not prescribed for you, and avoid smoking, vaping, or any sorts. Now, Chelsea, I'm going to have to ask you again to share the video on self-care, and I will stop my sharing of the screen.
No problem. Give me just 1 second to get that set up.
Thank you.
See my screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
We do things that take care of ourselves every day, like brushing our teeth and washing our hands. These activities are often called self-care. Self-care is something that anyone can do and that everyone should do. Self-care is not selfish, and it is one way we can care for our mental health. Taking care of your emotional well-being is just as important as taking care of your body, because they work together to keep you healthy. Self-care is something you do daily or weekly that focuses on the whole you. This looks different for everyone, so try some things out and see what's best for you.
My granny always told me, baby, when you're feeling like you're in a funk, try to do something you don't normally do. So I take her advice and try to get out of my routine, you know? So if I've been slammed with stuff and just been really busy, I like to get out of the house, get some air, and just listen to my favorite music. Sometimes I'll hop online and play some games with my friends. We'll complain about school, talk about people that we're cool with, people that irritate us, whatever's on our mind. Lately, we've definitely been talking about the pandemic and how life has been going. I tell them that what we do, talking to each other, is self-care, and they laugh about it. They give me a hard time, but I think they're warming up to it. It's taking a break from everything that stresses you out. You do things you like. You maybe write down your feelings, or you talk to your favorite person, or you could even just take a nap, eat, do whatever makes you feel comfortable before you have to jump back into the stress of everyday life. It feels good to do something that makes me feel good, you know?
It can be as simple as taking a deep breath or learning a breathing exercise that helps you calm down when you're stressed. Self-care can also be practicing gratitude, like keeping a journal of things you are grateful for or happy about. Even just saying something nice to a stranger. You can get in touch with your artistic side, or do something like joining a new community or activity. Or, if you're doing too many things, self-care can be saying no to something that you don't want to or cannot do. Because our well-being is connected, self-care for your mental health can also be something physical, like walking outside for 15 to 30 minutes a day, or sticking to a regular sleep schedule. If you have trouble falling asleep at night, try listening to calming noises or staying away from electronics before bed. Sleep is essential to self-care, and getting outside or exercising can help you sleep better at night. If you've been feeling sad, angry, anxious, overly tired, lonely, anything, there are things you can do to help yourself feel better. If you're facing any difficulties with your mental health and your sense of well-being, it's important to take care of yourself. You can always reach out for support, whether that's from a friend or a professional. Connecting with others is a big part of self-care. Remember to do what makes you happier and find things that make you feel better. And make sure that what makes you happy is still healthy behaviors. Don't be afraid to enjoy yourself. The COVID-19 pandemic has made it clear that practicing self-care has an important and positive impact as we get used to a new normal. While self-care is important and helpful, it can't always solve all of your problems. So sometimes you might have to reach out for other support. There are many resources available to you. The first step to self-care is to find what works best for you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
Not quite yet, but we'll give it just a minute like we did before.
Okay. All right. So with that short clip, I think the biggest takeaway is, establishing self-care, what really matters for you and what works best for you. I will give my lived experience of the importance of establishing self-care. I'm an immigrant and I migrated here in the United States. It was early in my late 20s. I have my husband and my 3-year-old daughter at the time. And I was working in the emergency department. It was just, I would probably say just over a year when I was working at the emergency department. And then I received a very devastating news that my younger brother was murdered from my native country. So, how I find it's very, very important that I have to take care of myself because one, I have to be taking care of patients who are coming in the emergency department. There was a very traumatic experience for me losing my younger brother. Like I said, it was murdered, and that I couldn't function very well, right? Because I was affected by that one. So, how did I manage that very traumatic experience? I allowed myself to grieve, moment of sadness, that grieving, crying, and really allowed myself to accept that one. But very important thing is trying to identify who are the individuals that I can go to and be able to reach out and share the feelings that I have that's overwhelming for me. Because as what you have learned that as individuals, it's important for us to connect, express our emotions that we're keeping inside in a healthy way. And that is through talking to your friends. And I have my peer group that have been my anchor. And I think that was also very important because I was just not only thinking of my own self. If I keep myself healthy, I know that I can keep my relationship healthy with my husband and with my daughter, and I can be very effective as a nurse. So I have to make sure that I take care of myself when there are moments that I have that I can just go out and walk and, even for a short moment when I am off and my child is in school. So the takeaway is that it is very important for us, regardless of how busy we are, we find that very moment to connect with ourselves and to take care of ourselves. Because at the end, if we are healthy, we are emotionally well, we are psychologically well, we are physically well, then it can impact our family. Our family is going to be well. It can impact our community, and the entire community is going to be well at the same time. The last thing that I will mention is about the national hotline, the 988. This is similar to your 911. When you have a medical emergency, we call 911, right? So the 988 is the suicide or crisis lifeline. You can call, you can text anybody who might have an overwhelming feeling like I don't have somebody to talk to, and you have this resource out there. Like I said, this is a national number, and they can connect you with the appropriate resources within the community, or should I say within the state or within the area that you're in. So in other words, there are resources in there. If there are times that you feel like I have no friends that I can talk to right now because they are busy, reach out to people that may direct you and lead you to resources in the community. And with that being said, that ends my education session. And if you have any questions, this is the time that you can ask questions or clarifications or comments or feedback, anything that you want to share.
Thank you so much, Aimee. And I'm just going to remind everyone, please type your questions in the chat box and I will read them out loud. As we're getting some fresh questions, I did have one question that's already in the chat box. How does my diet affect my mental health?
That is an excellent question, right? So how does your diet affect your mental health? Sometimes with the food that we eat, it does affect how we feel with our own selves. The food sometimes that we eat makes us feel like tired, makes us feel like not be able to work very well, makes us feel like we can't think very well. So there is indeed a direct relationship with the food that we eat and with our mental health. There's the reason why they would always say that try to eat healthy, because if we eat healthy, we can think clearly, and we tend to be active. When we are active, it gives us more of that energy and that those hormones that give us the positive emotions that can affect how we're actually thinking. That's actually a great question. Yes. Because we always say, like, okay, thinking, how does the food affect? Food is like a basic necessity and basic need, but the kind of the food that we eat does affect how we can actually think as well.
Awesome, thank you. The next question, what is the most effective way to increase my mental health?
Good one. You guys have very wonderful questions. So I would say that it really depends on each individual. One of the things probably is to reflect on what matters to you the most as of this time. If what is affecting you is prioritizing because you have so many things that you have to do and it's overwhelming you, try to think of ways. What are the most important thing that you have to finish and the things that you can just put to the side as well? Another would always be having that open communication with anybody, either in the house or your friends. That's very helpful. And like I have also mentioned about journaling, journaling is a very, very effective way. If you are the kind of person that you are not used to expressing through words, but you're able to express through writing, and it can help you with your own thoughts. So that can be an effective way as well. But try to see what works best for you. And if this one doesn't work well for me, then let me move on to something else that may work later on.
Excellent, thank you. The next question in the box, do you have a favorite technique for promoting emotional well-being?
My favorite technique, I do. Being quiet, really spending the time. I think for me is having that moment of just be quiet and then reflecting on myself. And then prayer is another thing that is very powerful, important for me. And the third one is, I would say, I love to sing, so I sing. It does help me a lot. So those are the favorite things that I like to do.
Excellent, thank you. The next question, vaping is a relatively new trend. Are there statistics on its effect on health?
What that is true. Vaping is new. Are there statistics? Yes, absolutely yes. There we have cases like in the hospital, and the data, even with the studies that have been conducted, evidence would show that it can lead to a lot of respiratory problems and issues. Those who are vaping more of the younger age, and we can see a lot of them who develop respiratory issues and problems. So yes, it can really affect. It may not seem like it's a big thing because it's new. Like I said, it's new, and people are not really talking about the effects of that one, but we are actually seeing a lot of individuals who develop a lot of respiratory problems.
Awesome, thank you. And the final question that I currently have in the chat box, you mentioned journaling as a way to control stress. How do I get started with that?
Excellent question. So this is what I've learned. If any paper you can do. You can have a notebook, a pad that you keep for yourself. Whatever is in your thought, just write it down there. And that's one way that you can express. And then maybe the following day, if you when you have the time, you can read into your journal and you can see, you're able to process how you were feeling the day before and how you are feeling right now, and how can I improve how I feel right now, basing from the things that I have learned from yesterday, what I wrote. And that is actually the start of that one. Just write down whatever your thoughts are, and you'll be amazed to see, like, oh wow, I was thinking and I was feeling like this yesterday, now I feel different. Oh, this is actually what I am supposed to do. And there's no perfect technique. I'm just going to say there's no perfect technique for that one, but that's how you can actually start, just to write down your thoughts about it.
Excellent. Thank you. That was the last question that I had in the chat box. I'm going to give just one more minute to wait and see if we have any final questions that come in. And in the meantime, I'm just going to let everybody know, if you enjoyed tonight's webinar, we do have another health seminar coming up as well. On November 6th at 1 p.m., we have a podiatrist visiting us. Your Feet, Your Ankles, and You is the name of that program. That program is going to be both at the main library and on Zoom, and everyone is welcome to attend. So if you enjoyed tonight, you might enjoy that one as well. So I don't see any other questions in the box. So I do want to say a big thank you, first off, to everyone who attended tonight. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us. And a huge thank you to Aimee. Thank you for donating your time and your energy to come out this evening and give this really educational and insightful presentation.
No, thank you so much, Chelsea. I'd like to thank you for organizing, the rest of the organizers. I'd like to thank Nikki as well. And of course, my H&H QIP team for the opportunity to be able to impart any education. I'm very, very grateful. And I thank all of you, like what Chelsea has mentioned. Thank you so much for really participating, and not just participating, but listening and taking the time on investing on yourself. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.